How y'all doing? Man, so happy to be here, and I'm here today. I just want to talk a little bit about how we are. Man, I just want to talk a little bit about how we are. I tell you what, how our mind works, and it's just how people are. It's just how I am. Man, it's crazy. Well, I tell you what, something that happened to me. Uh, I went out. Got up one day and I just got ready, and I was just out getting ready. Got ready, got my school uniform on, put my clothes on for school, and all of a sudden, uh, a couple my parents know, and I know pretty well, an elderly couple, very elderly, pulled up in our yard, and they're like, "Come on, get in." And they just plucked me up and just took me. I was like, "Isn't this a school day?" I don't really know why. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why they were taking me. I just know they just uprooted me and just was like, "Okay, we're taking you. You're coming." And I just began to accept the fact that they came from a time where if your parents needed help on the farm, school didn't matter. Your education could wait. So I just went with them. That's right. So I just didn't have a choice. They're like, "Get in. You're coming to help us." And I was like, "Okay, I'm getting in." And I got in, and I didn't know what I was into, but turns out they just wanted me to help them clean out the house. I don't know why they picked the time, but like I said, it didn't matter to them. So I got in their house, and we just started going through stuff. I mean, boxes were everywhere. It was a mess, and these are really clean people, so you wouldn't think you'd ever see their house like that, but sure enough, there was a couple of fossils and stuff everywhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I seen a dinosaur in a box. But something they said toward the end of the clean out, we had been there about 2 hours, and they said, "Hey, we're trying to clean out and make more space. We want to give you our old grandfather clock." And I accepted. And that was the stupidest decision I had ever made in my life. Like, what am I supposed to say? No, I don't need it. Was a grandfather clock. And these things aren't little, okay? I'm talking about the grandfather clock. This thing was like over my head. This thing was huge and loud. And let me tell you, folks, when people say you get used to the ringing in your house, they're wrong. They're desperately wrong. I brought that thing into the house. My parents were like, "That's nice." And I'm pretty sure I heard them whispering, "What in the world are we going to do with that thing? What in the..." I didn't have a choice. I was like, what was I supposed to say? So we lean it up in the house, and it's just there. We have it decorating our house with pride as our friends come over that day for supper. Very busy day that day. Seeing a lot of people. Our friends come over for supper, and they're sitting at the table, and they're just sitting there trying to talk with us, and the thing starts ringing, and it was 6 o'clock, so 6 times, and this was like, I mean, it was loud. It's like mess up your pants loud. They didn't see that coming. Actually, one of them did mess up the pants. Good thing we had the washer to back us up, though. Although I don't know about you guys, but my washer, it gets kind of loud sometimes. I mean, it starts jumping. Walk in the room with you. Thing's so loud. But luckily they brought a spare. I don't know why, but they brought a spare, and they went inside, changed their pants, and came back and ate at the table. Okay, and that thing is so loud, it scares people, and you can't hear what each other's saying. I mean, once that thing starts going, it's like. That's how I found Jesus. See, that is, you can't, you can't hear anything. It can be the most important thing. Just don't say it at 6 o'clock. You're not going to hear it. I mean, it shakes the house loud. That thing's so loud. I don't know why I did that. Okay, that is Never get a grandfather clock in your house. My little cousin that I had to babysit once, came over with those people, and he he kept thinking that there was a little gnome in there beating a gong every time. I was like, there could be, man. I don't know the technical part of those clocks, but there very well could be. It's weird how we do stuff sometimes, especially the older we get. My dad, for example, my dad used to hate game shows. He hated game shows. It was like the thing he would not watch. He would just sit there and watch a blank screen rather than watch a game show, okay? But the other night, I hear him watching TV and the game show's on. And I'm like, well, there's no way that he's going to let this keep playing. Sure enough, he's all into it. He's like, oh man, look at that price. He got it right. They win a car on there, and he used to hate that. He used to think that was the stupidest thing ever. And now he's in there cheering for him. You got this. That car's all yours if you can do this. So I just have to run in. I currently hate game shows. And I just run in. I just got to see what all the fuss is about. And I find myself sitting down, and I catch myself watching it all into it as well. I'm like, I don't know, Dad, they're going to pull this one through. My mom, on the other side of the story, used to love commercials. She actually used to complain. She currently complains about that we don't get to see them enough with our new streaming service. I know that sounds backwards. It's weird, and she's sitting in there, and that same night I go back in my room and I hear her in front of the TV complaining about how much she sees that commercial. And I'm like, that's a wish come true for you, ain't it? I don't know, but I can't just talk about my parents. I have some weird stuff happen to me too. It's just how I am. That's just how it is. One time my mom was telling me I was putting my clothes in a laundry basket. True story. And there was a net on there. I don't know why the net was on there. I don't know what good it had on there or what use it could possibly be for. But it was on there. And I was like, well, Mom, what's this net used for? Why is this net on here? So she walks away, and she's telling me as she walks away, well, you see that net? It's actually supposed to be used for. And I didn't even want to ask her again. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to. She was just walking away. And I heard what it's supposed to be used for. And that's all I heard. That's all I heard of that sentence. So I'm just, a million scenarios are just flooding my mind, okay? What is that net actually supposed to be used for? Some scenarios I wish were not coming into my mind. Some I wish I hadn't have thought about. I'm like, oh my goodness, did I have to picture that? What is... A couple of days later, I catch myself laying in the bed at midnight, just can't sleep, thinking about what is that net actually supposed to be used for. I still hadn't asked her. Eventually, I'm to the point where a couple of weeks later, it's still on the top of my mind. I done failed 2 tests over it. And I just go ask my pastor. I'm like, okay, Pastor, there's this net in our laundry basket. Do you have any idea what that is used for? And sure enough, dude, he called him and he didn't even get the answer. So I'm still wondering, comment it if you will. I don't know what that thing's supposed to be used for. You know how long it took me to compile an act with that on my mind? I couldn't even go through a 10-minute stand-up without even mentioning it to you guys. So, man, there's some crazy things that go on. I mean, it gets worse too. Yeah, the way people think, the way they are. Yeah, I go to school, and when you go to school, there's 2 different types of people. Okay, 2 different types of people. one that brings a bag of goldfish to lunch, and the other that brings a box of cheese whales. And it's not about the food at that point, okay? It has nothing to do with the food. The food don't matter. They're about the same thing. Although cheese whales sounds a lot worse, they actually do taste close to the same. But it just tells you a lot about that person. Between the one that has goldfish and the one that has cheese whales, that they're going to get stereotyped. Okay? They are. That's just how it is. The person that brings a bag of goldfish to lunch. That person, we know that you've got all A's, you passed your test before you came down here to the lunch table. And you're going to have a successful family, a high-paying job, and you got this. The person that brings a box of cheese whales to lunch. We know that you just currently failed your test. You lost. You're failing all your grades. Your marriage goes a little something like this. The ring you use to hold your keys together is the one that you're going to have when you're on your knee. Of course, the person that's eating the cheese wheels can't hear all these stereotypes, because they're sitting at a table by themselves. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have been incredible. Thank you. Thank you.